So we light our Advent candles this morning. First, faith and hope, trusting that life is unfolding just as our souls need. Then peace, where we can be still and know this calm within. And then today, we light the pink candle, which is love, knowing that love's presence is always with us, always part of us, always flowing, whether we're aware of it or not. And it's up to us to keep that awareness open. So this week, my parents were in town, staying with me, haven't been here in almost 6 years. And they came to see the baby. We're here to see the baby, Sue. We're here to see the baby. And so I've got this first picture of, we have 4 generations. My mom, my daughter, me, and a granddaughter, Zoe. And 4 generations of firstborns. And we're and all girls, obviously. So then the next picture, something struck us all funny, I don't know, but my dad, had to be in the picture because he's responsible for all of this. Yeah. And then the next one, we're passing the baby down the line. I won't bore you with the rest. I mean, we all had to take turns and get our pictures taken with us, holding the baby, of course. So it was so sweet. We had a nice visit in. We had a nice visit. Love, lot of love there for that little baby. And Advent is this time where we get ready for the birth, get ready for a birth of a new awareness of who we are as spiritual beings. And as any birth can be painful and messy, so can this. When our souls are longing for their next evolution, it can be painful. It can be messy. It can be challenging because it requires us to release things that no longer serve us. It requires us to surrender to our greatest, our highest good. And that's not always easy. So today is about love. And I was going back and thinking, how many talks have I given on love? How do you keep it fresh? But love is such a big topic and such a big word for such a big presence. This love's presence that's always with us. In Unity, we teach that the power of love is our ability to harmonize and unify and attract ourselves to, or to create this oneness with all of our thoughts. It always starts first in consciousness. That we have to bring our thoughts together. It's the power behind our idea of oneness. That we keep this like magnet of all these thoughts together towards this one goal of love. There's one attribute of love. And so love is what today is all about, love, and creating a legacy of love. We want to create a legacy of love. Most of us want to make a difference. When you talk to anybody, when you're talking about setting goals or visions, we want to make a difference. We want to know that we got to the end of our life and we mattered, that we added value to someone else's life. And so we can create a legacy of love. We can leave a legacy of love for those that are important to us. And how do we do that? Well, it starts with knowing what's important to us and then acting on that. Staying focused on that, as the power of love is whatever we focus our attention on is what we will attract ourselves to. And so if we're going to attract ourselves to a greater experience of love, then we have to focus on that. We have to respond with love. things come up, and and we don't always respond with love, right? I know I don't always respond with love. That's always the goal, the intention, the highest standard to do that, but it doesn't always happen. It takes time. It takes practice. Yesterday, I came across a children's story about love and time, which I'll share with you. Once upon a time, all the emotions and feelings lived on an island. But the island, they had gotten word that the island was going to sink. It was sinking. And so they all needed to get off the island. And so every one of the emotions started getting their boats ready and preparing. And those boats that weren't floating or able to sail away needed to be repaired. And so all the boats were getting ready. Love decided it was going to wait till the last minute because everybody needed love. And so it waited. And then it got to a point where the island was sinking and love needed to get off the island too. So love tried to hitch a ride. There were no boats left. So love tried to hitch a ride with richness. And richness said, oh, no, love. I've got precious possessions on my boat, gold and silver. There's no room for love. And then it saw the boat for vanity. And vanity, can I get on your boat? No, love. Your boots are muddy. If you get on my boat, you'll make my boat ugly. No room for you, love. And then love saw happiness, the boat for happiness, and said, sadness. Can I get on your boat, sadness? Oh no, I'm too sad. I want to be alone. I don't have room for love on my boat. And then happiness came by, and happiness didn't even pay any attention to love because happiness was all in their own stuff. And the same with control, and the same with all those other emotions. Nobody had room for love, resentment, pettiness. They didn't have room for love. Till finally, a boat came by, and it was an elder. And this elder said to love, come on, hop on my boat. I've got room for you. Let's go. And so love got on the boat. They got to their destination, and love wanted to thank the captain of this boat, but didn't know who it was. The captain had taken off right away. And so love went up to another elder that he saw on the land. Knowledge. Who was the captain of that boat that brought me here? And he said, oh, that was time. Because in time can value love. Time will appreciate love. In time, you know that how important love is. You see, when we're going through our lives and we focus our attention on things like riches and vanity and pettiness and sadness, even happiness, we don't have room for love. We need to focus on love. There's no room for love in the boat. There's no room for it in the inn, as the nativity story talks about. There's no room in the inn when our minds are filled with different chatter, when our minds are filled with things that don't really serve our souls. There's no room. And so how can we leave a legacy of love if there's no room for it, if we don't make room for it? We have to make room for it. And we make room for it by responding with love, by setting an intention that love is what's important here. Love is what's important, and so we want to make sure that we tell the people that we love them. We don't want to waste an opportunity to say that, to say those words. They may be challenging for you to say them, but they're important for the other people in your life to hear. This week, I think it's kind of been blowing up on the internet, this video that I'm going to show you. On Friday was Dick Van Dyke's 99th birthday. And he did a video in October with Chris Martin from Coldplay. And I want to show, it's long, it's 7 minutes, so Bonnie cut it for me, and I'll have the link in the update this week so you can watch the whole thing, but let's watch that.
You got all my love. Almost on key.
Yeah, I'll go up the octave. Ready? Here we go.
You got all my love. Love.
No, love.
Love. I can hear it. You got all my love. Is that it?
Well, it's in the right city. You got all my love. Whether it rains or pours, I'm all yours. You've got all my love. Whether it rains, it remains. You've got all
my love.
What is love?
What is love? Boy, they've been attacking that question for centuries. I don't know. It certainly is a feeling of caring about the welfare and the life of the other person as much as you care for yourself. Oh, can you see that? This is just in our first home when we moved to California. Oh, and there's Carrie Beth, who was born there. Chris is the oldest. There's Barry and Stacy. I've had dreams where I am, I don't know, depressed or lonely or hurt or something, and she comes to comfort me. Actually comes to comfort me. The part I love is, until I die.
Yeah, let me hold you
I
if
can
you
hold
cry.
you if you cry.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Until I die, let me hold you if you cry. Be my 1, 2, 3 forever.
I'm acutely aware that I'm, could go any day now, but I don't know why it doesn't concern me. I'm not afraid of it. I have that feeling, totally against anything intellectual I have, that I'm going to be all right.
You've got all my love. Whether it rains, it remains. You've got all my love.
I think I'm one of those lucky people who got to do for a living what I would have done anyway. When you think how lucky I am, I got to do what I do, play and act silly.
Whether it rains or pours, I'm all yours. That's so.
Big family.
All I can say.
Before we go, will you close your eyes and think about all the people that have meant something to you in your life?
Okay. I'm too old for this. I'll pass out and go to sleep. I'll take a nap. Wouldn't that be funny if I did that?
I'll find out always till the end of my days. You got all my love.
So there's more if you decide to watch it. At the end, he asks, or Chris says to him, I'll write a song, and give me any topic, and I'll just write a song. And he says, old age, and he writes this little song. It's really sweet. The whole thing's really sweet. But Can you imagine dancing in your bare feet when you're 99? Isn't that fantastic? So I don't know what kind of legacy he's leaving. I mean, certainly for all of us that grew up seeing him on TV and movies and stuff, a legacy of humor. And, it's beautiful. But what a legacy of love for his family to have this video. And he says, what is love? It's caring about someone, their welfare, as much as you do yourself, which is what Jesus says too, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself, as if you are one, as if you are connected, as if you are joined. And that's love, this presence of love that's always with us. Last night, Kevin and I watched a movie called White Bird. Anybody see it? It's on Amazon and you can rent it. But it's about World War II, and it's about a girl who's Jewish, and they come to France. It's in occupied France. And the Nazis come in there rounding up all the children out of the school, and she escapes, and this boy whose family hides her for the duration of the war. And at the end, the woman's telling the story to her grandson about how important it is that over time you see how important love is. You see how these people that hid her definitely left her a legacy of love, left her free. It's a beautiful movie, and I don't want to give it away, but if you get a chance to watch it, it's a story it's also called The Wonder Story. Leave a legacy of love. And at the end, the woman who's much older, giving a speech about darkness and light, and how darkness doesn't get rid of darkness, only light can do that. The same Martin Luther King Jr. Hate doesn't get rid of hate, only love can do that. And so we have an opportunity always to love, to respond with love, whatever that looks like for you. And it's not easy. It's not easy all the time, hardly ever. I know in my life, I spent many years when I was younger chasing things that didn't really matter, and not focus so much on the love part. And you get to a point where you realize that that's not satisfying anymore. That just doesn't make me feel fulfilled. Only love can do that for us. Only the richness of relationships with people and ourselves. But it takes some self-awareness to know what's important, what legacy do we want to leave, how do we want people to remember us when we're gone? With love? Dennis Merritt Jones had this quote. He's written several spiritual books. In the end, when you leave this planet, will there be a surplus or a deficit of love left in the wake of your life? Now, I don't think there's a surplus or deficit of love ever, but our awareness of it. Did you let people know that you value them, that they're important to you, that you love them? That's what he means with this surplus or deficit. We don't want to get to the end of our lives and realize that so many people didn't know that we loved them. And to birth a new awareness of who we are as spiritual beings, of course, requires love, because love is what God is, what spirit is. And so this new awareness has to be birthed in the presence of love, in an awareness of the presence of love. So we get ready for this birth. We get ready for it by cultivating the love that we already are, by bringing it forth, expressing from that place. It starts in us. Eric Butterworth always talks about how we don't get love or give love. It's not in exchange. We have to be love. We have to be that which we are. And then it just kind of flows out of us when we have enough, when we realize that we have enough within ourselves. It takes some self-awareness. It takes self-love. I watched a video the other day. I love Christmas videos. I'm always looking for Christmas videos. So this one, and there's this one young woman who was heartbroken. Her boyfriend had broken up with her, and it's the beginning of December. And she's just crying and crying and crying, and then you see this note come through her post box with a red ribbon on it. She opens it up and it says, "You are kind." And the next day she's still crying and another note comes through her mailbox and with a red ribbon, and she opens it up and says, "You are beautiful." And on the back of these notes is like parts of a picture. Can't really make out what it is. And so every day during December, she's still crying, but she's getting these notes with the red ribbon telling her all these beautiful things about her. And then on Christmas Eve, the boyfriend comes back, knocks on her door, and he's there with a gift and says, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." And there was a note that was left, and she said, "Are you the one that's been sending me these notes?" And he goes, "What notes? What are you talking about?" She goes to open the note that was sent that day, and it says, "You deserve better." And she kind of says no thank you to him, closes the door, puts the note on the wall, and all the notes were pieces of a puzzle with her face. She had to realize this for herself. She had to get to a place of self-love, where we empty ourselves of all the other stuff, all those other things where there's no room for love. We have to empty ourselves. It's called kenosis. And they talk about this in the Gospel according to Mary Magdalene, that she was able to empty herself so that she could perceive Jesus after the crucifixion. You have to empty yourself so that you're just in this total state of love, total state of awareness of love. Empty those things that don't matter. Empty yourself of them. Feel loved. You, each of us are loved beyond measure, beyond anything we could ever comprehend. We are loved, and we are love. And so we want to express from that place to everyone else, to everyone we meet. And this birth that's coming Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and it's just symbolic of this cycle that goes through our lives. Every time we prepare ourselves and get ready for that next evolution of our soul's growth, to become more and more and more and more aware of love's presence that is always with us. No matter what is going on, we can respond to love. We can turn within to love. We can get still. We need to get still, just like with faith and hope and peace. Get still so we're aware of it. And then we can leave a legacy of love. So what is your legacy? What do you want to leave behind? What's going to be in your wake of life? I came across this from The Message. It's a different translation of the Bible. And Brooke mentioned Corinthians, first book of Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind. You've all heard that one. It's a lot used in weddings, and it's beautiful. of what love is. But this is from the Message, which is more contemporary language. It says, love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of the sins of others, doesn't revel when others grovel, takes pleasure in the flowering of truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always looks for the best, never looks back, but keeps going to the end. That's love. That's love. So in time, with time, love is always revealed. If you're not seeing love, it's not at the end. There's more to the story. There's more to the picture. So hold out with time for love, to let love be revealed and leave a legacy of love this holiday season. Peace be with you.